think I can get started. Hey, good morning. I know I'm smaller, I'm shorter than usual, and my theme keeps playing now, which is something that I've been working on. Hi, good morning. How you doing? Welcome. I'm working on a new setup for the show, and I hope you like it. I've been messing around. Clearly, someone has been messing around in Photoshop again, and here I am. So, let's see. That seems loud by comparison. Volume-wise, it should be all right. Hopefully, everything sounds okay. Let me know. I know I don't have the Venmo graphic because it was on the computer, so I had to move it. I will put it in by this afternoon show. I was just working on that, but quite frankly, good morning, Water. I rolled in at 3:12 a.m. last night into the house after driving to Los Angeles just to rehearse for with Nerd Halen and then turn right around and come back. So I can be forgiven for being a little sleepy and off right now. Please. Hello, everyone across the pond. Hi, everybody who's joining. It's so funny. My camera is way up here, and I feel like I'm like, hello. But it's actually okay. It actually looks all right. Yeah. So I'm prepping for this afternoon show, and I've been building. I do think I need 5 eggs at some point. I mean that would be a good breakfast. 5 eggs. To have, that's not bad. As a matter of fact, on let's see, should we do it Friday's morning show? Oh, wait. By the way, my trainer, see, I wasn't going to do the morning show Tuesdays and Thursdays because that's when I go to the gym with Teresa Summers, trainer, who I go to, anyways, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to the gym with the trainer, and Thursday she's off. So I will go to the gym at a regular time on my own. So tomorrow I can do a morning show as well. So I will do that. Yes, Newsom won hands down. California recall is a huge joke, and it is all over. If you look up, I'll give you an example. If you look up an example of what things if you look up the recall right now, there's a lot of pictures of smiling Gavin Newsom. There's some, like, these are leftover pictures, but most of them are him smiling or an angry Larry Elder. These are the primary pictures you're going to see. 538. What went down? Let's see what went down, shall we? Let's jump in here. What went down at the California recall election? I have some thoughts, as you might imagine. But Steve Kornacki was pointing out today that the percentages between these two things are very similar to how the election went down in, let's see if I can jump over here for a second. There was a, let me see, Biden versus Trump election results, California. See if I can bring that up. Maybe 538 has it. Something that shows it relatively well. Let's just do this California election. Yeah, so yeah, here we go. There's this one, and then I don't want to see a bigger map of this. This is a conversation about it. Interactives. How do I click on that? Okay, here we go. So this is what we were just looking at. If you'll notice, it's kind of small, so hold on. Maybe it's after. Maybe it'll put all the stuff in the side panel. No, I guess not. All right, hold on. Minus. So right here, no beat yes. Just, and for those of you that don't know, the California recall for the governor, for the governor's race, all you need is 12% signatures equal to 12% of the people who voted in the last gubernatorial election, 12%, to get a recall on the ballot. Then it's a coin flip question for the first one. Do you support or are you against it? If more people support than are against it, then of anybody running, whoever has the most of those folks wins. And what that means is if you got like a 50-50 split on the election, but plus one, in the case of 47 people running for governor in California, Larry Elder effectively had to get 12% of the electorate to become the governor of a state that's the 8th largest economy in the world. It's ridiculous. But Steve Kornacki was pointing out a lot, and rightly so, that the numbers here, as far as the percentages, 64 to 36 right now as they stand, are very close to what happened in the presidential election, right? This is true. Now, what do I always tell you guys about if they give you the percentage, but they don't give you the base number, or they give you the base number without the percentage, you're not getting the whole story. So are the margins the same? Absolutely. Are the number of voters the same? No. 5.8 million here versus 3.2 million. This is this election. in the presidential election, California voters, 11 million for Biden, 6 million for Trump. So even in the case of this, you got about half, a little over half on the no side, a little under, he's at 6 million on the nose. So just slightly over half on the Trump side. So the numbers of people who came out to vote for this is the crucial piece of information, because a lot of people just blew it off and left it to the people who cared about democracy. These are the folks who are, this is nearly like, this is everybody. This is nearly the activist class of voters and people who, feel strongly about politics. This is a great statistic on how people feel, about the election itself. It's, it's almost this is a polling representation of people that think it was worth it to get involved. The problem is out there's 6 million Trump voters in the state of California. There's 11 million Democrats who would vote in this, right? That means in the pocket, there were double the number of people, Trump voters, who could have come out and said yes for this. They didn't. Now, the Democrats, there's 11 million here. And then if you look at this, there's 5.8 million here on the no answer. The crucial part of this, by the way, and Larry Elder got he got 7% of the yes vote, which again is half of this number, or 2/3 of that number. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. At some point, 1 second. Hi, Ireland. How are you? This is totally inside baseball-y shit, but it's kind of important, and it's early, so I'm just relaxing into it this morning. I hope you can forgive me. I was, driving all night just to get back home. So, the vast majority of the state, and this is funny too, is that they show these counties and these areas, and Steve Kornacki was doing this a bunch too. He was going through the whole breakdown like this. And look at, here's Ventura County, here's LA County. 3 million to 1 million. Just in LA County. Everybody talks about Irvine and Orange County. 800,000 to 600,000. That's the Biden-Trump numbers right there, right? And even still, everybody talks about behind the orange curtain, right? Well, Biden still won that even so. Even with a section of Latinos going their way, going Trump's way. Here's San Diego County, again, often thought of as far more conservative than San Francisco and more conservative than Los Angeles, still went to Biden in those circumstances. Okay, so in the California recall, let's see if they have where is it? Do they have the recall on here? 538, what's happening? I don't want to know what went down. That's just your politics. We'll just dive straight in. Why it looked like Gavin Newsom could lose his job in August and where the polls stand today, because of where you were asking and how you were asking. It's so silly. I don't know why I can't. Let's see. Filed under governor recall. All right, there we go. Where's shouldn't they have a map? 538, your website is a mess. Anyways, so I wish there was this. This is what I would like this. Because it's a much better graphic. What is wrong with you fellows? Here, hold on. Let me see. I'll see if I can drag it up in a second. But I'm talking slower and I'm very sleepy. Very sleepy. But I missed you and I wanted to get up and do this, even though I'm a little behind. And I'm still tweaking this show, so the shape of things as they come. So forgive me. I do have a BRB screen that I haven't built yet. and then this articles one, which is going to be something, and then there we go. So I've been doing work. I've been working. Let's see, Politico. Let's see, California recall map. That'll do it. Okay, yeah, this is a little better. They make it. It's so odd too, because what in the world is wrong with you, New York Times? Let's see. Foxes. That's a little more normal. Okay. So, bring this back up real quick for you. So, here is the basic map of this, and it's all the same. And I don't know why it's these. The neutral tones are not doing it for me, Washington Post. I don't know what you're thinking, but so no one was successful at 5.8. There's the same numbers we were looking at before. And then this is the elder winning 2.3 million of those out of, you had to put down who you thought should win. And they're all Republican. There's Republicans that ran that were in the top 6, but 2 Democrats who were running did very well also, mainly to water down whoever else was running and bring it within shooting distance. If you hadn't, like, one of the things, and I don't want to give anybody a plan on how to do this, because these recalls are ridiculous. But what you would do next time, Democrats, is you would run a no campaign, but run dozens of Democrats for the yes side of it. So that, like, really well-known ones, so that if he loses, it should go to this person, so everybody can go, no, I'm against it, but if he's replaced, he should be replaced with this Democrat, would be the way to do it. In theory, anyways. Might save you a lot of hassle. It's a thought. Anyways, so this is the map of, this is where all the people are. This is where all the empty ground is. Essentially, in California. The thing that it doesn't tell you, and again, this is 64 to 36. Yeah, that's their same one. This is the important number right here. How many people bothered to come out for this? How many people thought it was valuable to vote in this? That's the issue. Yeah, the ranked choice voting thing should be added to a recall. It kind of works that way, but it's like winner take some. Anyways, it's dumb. It's over. And like I said, if you look up any pictures about it, it's a lot of smiling Gavin Newsom. And so congratulations to our buddy Gavin, because he's a sweet guy. I like him. I've been very lucky in that I got to meet him very early on when he was mayor of San Francisco. Like I said, he and I marched from Harvey Milk Square to the Supreme Court building for gay marriage ages ago. And he's always been a solid guy. I never got the Kimberly Guilfoyle thing, but then apparently he came to his senses. So who of us doesn't have somebody in our past where they're like, what was I thinking? I mean, you're not human. I mean, that's one of the most relatable things about him, considering he's like perfectly cut from like he's like from a politician making machine. Look at this guy. Look at this dude. He looks like a presidential candidate on Portlandia. He's just too good looking, too tall, too well spoken, too relatable. Just all the above. So and secondly, how you guys doing? Yeah, he's pretty tall. He's not giant, but everything's relative. Just saying. I'm going to check in with my chat. let's see. Do I have a chat? Yeah. Nah, I don't want to do that. But let's see. The Kennedys were the same. Yep, he's been specially constructed to be likable. Yeah, his sarcasm setting has been lowered to 72%. Only people who like Interstellar will get that. I'm 5'9". Scale says I'm taller. Well, thanks. I'm a bit of a mess. I'm exhausted and puffy and tired. So thanks for being. Yes, Tars was very awesome. Thanks for being supportive. It's a morning show and it feels like one today. Yesterday, because of traffic, I didn't get to Los Angeles in time to do the show yesterday. So because getting out of here, and I had to rehearse with Nerd Halen for our upcoming October gig, because we got a limited window with Victor, our bass player. And so I drove to Los Angeles yesterday from Vegas, rehearsed for 3 hours, got back in my car, got some food at 10 o'clock at night, and then drove back to Vegas. So I was burning the candle at both ends and trying to light the middle, as I am wont to say. And so this morning I am feeling it a little bit. So after I hang out with you guys a little bit, I will indeed pass out before today's show. But I had to get my sort of show prep together, because if I passed out and then was like, oh, showtime, I didn't want to have to rearrange too much of my stuff, especially as I'm building the new look and layout. Thoughts? Does it look okay? Do you like the blue? Is the blue a good color? How long of his drive? It's about 4 hours and change. It's about 4:20, 4:25, something like that, in deference to Benny Loco. Yeah. Blue. That's good. Makes you think of eggs. What coffee shop do I go to? Hold on one second. Somebody was asking me. I want to buy a gift card. Oh, thanks. I pretty much like Starbucks, Coffee Bean. I get tea at Coffee Bean. That's my main thing. And if they have the right tea, though, sometimes their tea is hit and miss, and that's a shame because all Starbucks tea tastes like soap. It's terrible. They've never gotten it right. It's all from concentrate. It's terrible. They don't brew it. Coffee Bean brews their tea, so it's good. It's just a matter of which. They tend to have a lot of I'm a tea snob, so they have a lot of we added flower petals and blueberries, and just make some tea, for God's sake. So that one, and then here in Vegas, we have Samba Latte, where I will be posting pictures of me hanging out with Todd Kearns because we're going for coffee sometime in the next couple days. So all works. There's no Dunkins out here. So, yeah. Yes, green tea, absolutely. I can drink coffee all day and go to sleep. Yeah. I can too. My caffeine tolerance is so high. What was that? Thanks, Trisha. The first YouTube channel you look forward to. Oh, that's great. Well, I'm trying. That's our goal. And shall we go through the trends of the morning? Should we do that? Because oh God, I'm going to. Yeah, I can't do it. Hold on. I can do it. I just emotionally can't do it. So a lot of us get up and, wake and bake our social media. There's always a lot going on, a lot to watch. I don't know why, but I'm always curious about what trends in my social media in the morning, because can I tell you guys something? Can I make you aware of something? It's very important. when you go to social media, when you open up your Facebook, when you open up your Instagram, when you specifically Twitter trends and Facebook, these are the big culprits. When you open those things up, when you look at what's going on in the world, they don't present to you what's going on in the world. They present to you the parts of what's going on in the world that you are most likely to click on or engage with. If they know, if there's it's kind of, it's the same way they used to program local news. They know that apartment fires are riveting. So if you got a video of apartment fire, you run it during the breaks, and on Action News at 7, an apartment fire broke out in downtown, blah, blah, blah. And we've got exclusive footage, and we talked to the fire chief, and there were victims and yada. And so people will know that they want to see that, so you'll draw that. The other stories are what's actually happening. Unless you were in that building or downwind from it, it really doesn't pertain to you. Like I've always argued that when they show like apartment fires or house fires or whatever, unless there was something about it that is germane to the rest of your life, like the wiring was faulty and it was put in during a certain few years or by a specific company, and they know that that's what's caused it. And some people in the area also had that. They also, experience, that's the plumber we use. That's the electrician we used. That's the company everybody in this side of the town bought their electrical cabling from, and it's dangerous because it's poorly insulated. That's news. That's valuable to watching. Video of a building burning has no function to you unless it's, you might have to drive past it, or oh shit, my office building is on fire. I guess I'm not going to work today. There's elements of it that are news, but the actual footage of it is meaningless. It draws your attention. And they know that if they put it up, it will keep your attention. We know this. Okay. That's how Facebook and Twitter trends especially work, okay? That's how this stuff operates. It is not what is most important to you. It is not even based on what you look at a lot of times. It's what you will click on. It is designed, and they spend more money on this than anything. And we will get to Norm in a moment, because I have no doubt that will come up in there as well. Norm Macdonald passed of cancer. He'd been battling it for like 8 to 10 years. Not surprising to anybody who's seen it, sort of his health fluctuating over the years. But this is it's crucial for you to know this, because what they want you to do is get emotionally engaged and then click something. And then in clicking something in the feed that you're clicking and engaging in, and you are at an emotionally heightened state because it's interesting to you, or you like it, or you hate it, or you're angry about it, or you're excited about it, they can run ads in there while you're in that excited state, and you are more apt to remember them. Now, whether or not you're more apt to buy the stuff at the moment, that used to be the thought. The ads themselves would trigger, like, oh, you're in this heightened state, I'll get you to order it right now. Like, it has to be this immediate. Long lead advertising on a giant scale is way more important. And what they want you to do is constantly think of the product, so that when you're in buying mode, when you're at the grocery, when you're at the mall, when you're, on Amazon or whatever, they want you to, that product to be in the front of your mind. So point is that you get in that excited zone. They present you with this. Here's Hunger Action Gold Peak, which is this is a promoted tweet right here. Now, I'm not singling them out in particular for any particular reason, other than they chose to. These are the first 4 things that popped up in my feed for me. See that? For you. And then there's trending. And then there's COVID-19 news, which they have up there. And then, which, currently there is no evidence that the disinfectant betadine prevents or treats COVID. I mean, this is where you have to be with this. That's all they're doing now. North Korea launches 2 ballistic missiles off its east coast. That's fun. This hearing, which I swear to God, we watched some of it this morning on the news, and if there's just brutally heartbreaking. Like, this is, if I was one of these girls' fathers, I would have a hard time not going door to door with a cinder block to everybody who was involved in this. Yeah. And then, of course, entertainment. So these are the things that they set up as, what they're trying to get me to click on. And in this will be stuff that's, top of the line. And then it will repopulate based on whatever I click. So if I click on Usher, it'll go, oh, this. And then it will start to fill in with stuff that's similar in feed to this stuff. So it is not what I'm actually looking for. Oh, more of that? Oh, you want more of that? Oh, here's more of that. I'm more of that. Okay. My dad would have felt the same way. Yeah. It's hard to even think about talking about like the level of that stuff. So, I have to find out, but I do need to know why Carrie is trending. Do we know? What is this? It's just the name Carrie. It's probably 10 down now. Are we going on Carrie Fisher passed away? Oh, Carrie. Oh, the new prime minister. What happened? Following cabinet reshuffle, 3 or 4 of the proposals now held by women. Prime Minister Carrie Johnson. What? Liz Truss and Home Secretary Priti Patel. I guess that just happened. Where's that? The UK. Dominic Cummings labels Boris Johnson's cabinet shake-up the Carrie reshuffle. Okay. Yeah, so, okay, British news. So that's why. I was expecting, prom, blood. Yeah. They're all going to laugh at you. Dirty pillows. So, so this hunger action. Okay. Now I think a lot of you may have heard me say this phrase before, but this is something you need to be aware of. And let me be abundantly clear. This is not a net negative. This concept I'm about to tell you about. It's not necessarily bad. It's actually a good indicator that companies have to or can do this to try and improve their standing, because it means the audience for their product and the general public likes these kinds of things, likes to be helpful, likes to be charitable. And statistically, Americans are among the most charitable in the world. Okay? Every year, as far as giving money and aid to the rest of the world, America's, in the top 3 all the time. So, this is, let's see what this one is. Hunger Action Month, hashtag, that's hashtag Hunger Action Month. Feeding America, medicine should never come at the cost of food. This is just, okay, so food shouldn't be an impossible choice. Gold Peak is teaming up with Feeding America to fight against cancer by providing 2.5 million meals this year to families across the country. Cool. They're doing it they're reminding everybody, about their local food banks. There was obviously a big drop-off in people volunteering for food banks last year because of COVID, and now as that comes back, it's important that if you can, Summer and I have done the one here in Vegas a couple times. I've obviously, we work with the Mission downtown in Los Angeles, but especially during the pandemic, there was they used up a lot of the stores that they had. It's a good time to, to refocus on that. This is House Appropriations. Dems are posting this around this. This Hunger Action Month, Appropriation Dems, which is their the Twitter feed for the House Appropriations Committee, the Democrats on the House Appropriations Committee, are helping working families and vulnerable put food on the table. Democrats are fighting for funding that expands access to healthy fruits and vegetables, 6.4 million Americans. That's largely school. Invests in America's kids by providing school meals through child nutrition programs. Guarantees 45 million Americans have food through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Again, this is, I don't know what the pushback, there's the most famous one recently was that Wisconsin school lunch. Yeah, the school board in Wisconsin. Hold on, let me bring this over here. The school board member that said families will become spoiled if they get a free lunch. Because, it's a child's fault if their parents are broke. Remember, it's important that children understand that this is a cold, uncaring world, that no one will help you. And if your parents are broke, you should grow up hating them. And you should be also nutritionally deprived. Therefore, your brain doesn't develop normally. So you can grow up with anger towards your parents and society with a diminished mental capacity. That's a great idea. What an incredible plan for the future. Not to mention pro-life. So obviously, they put a halt to this. At nearly every Wisconsin public school, all students will be able to eat free meals this academic year, same as they did last year under a federally funded program responding to the pandemic, but not in Waukesha, approximately 20 miles from Wisconsin. From Milwaukee in Wisconsin. Administrators opted into the program last year, but school board members intervened and hit the brakes this time around. As we get back to whatever you want to believe normal means, we have decisions to make, Joseph Como, president of the school board, said in a meeting. I would say this is part of normalization. Board member Karen, Rajnicek, said the free program made it easy for families to become spoiled. Darren Clark, Assistant Superintendent for Business Services, says he feared there would be a slow addiction to the service. This is a story we hear all the time from Republicans, which is there's the slavery of a social safety net, that we breed people to be lazy. We breed people not to try, that someone will always pick up after you if you go through this program. Now, in all of these situations, especially when it's children, it's lunacy to deprive kids of food when they are in your care. They can't leave the school. Let's say their parents can't afford the school lunch, and they can't, I guess, afford stuff that will keep. But if you come home, you can have some of the soup we made, whatever it is. I mean, think of whatever, like, poverty food you might have eaten when you were a kid. We ate burgoo, which was effectively a really thick soup, stew with just everything we had around in it that would keep for a while. True. And so, these are the prep school lunches, whatever. At school, I had I got a blue ticket when we were on reduced price because we were broke. When I got reduced lunches, the only difference, it was the same meal, but the other kids would have a white ticket and I had a blue ticket. And you would always spot the kids who had the blue tickets. It was effectively to shame them, as if it could affect the kids. Like they wanted the kid to be miserable, to come home sad, and the blue ticket, and then the parents would shape up or something. Like they thought it was this bank shot motivator for broke families, when indeed the families weren't broke because they wanted to be. So anyways, the idea that you would want to shame or embarrass a child to get the parents to act right is just cruel and stupid. And the idea that you would want to deny food to a child in your care seems like child abuse to me. So I don't get it. Like, if kids at school, there should be a school lunch available equally to every kid who's in the school. The federal government will pay for it. And if kids want to bring their own food because they eat something else, fine. But no one like there's no finger wag that you can give a child that matters when they're hungry. And there is an argument to be made that I am a full inch shorter than I should be because of similar programs when I was young and the availability of food and calories. So, because my parents aren't particularly short. So, I mean, it's absurd. So, anyways, the House Dems are, I mean, this is what they're talking about: SNAP and then the federal school lunch program. The states, most of the states that push back against this, all of the states that push back are red states. Most of the red states don't push back; they just take the money and use it for the thing because children. But the ones that do push back on it think that they can, they've either weaseled some way that they can route the money somewhere else. So there's a secondary nefarious reason behind it. Aurora, Illinois, I think. Is that where it has there you go. Food Bank Inc. For everyone's health and safety, must wear closed-toed shoes. Don't wear sandals with your nasty feet in the food pantry thing. I agree. No food or drink in the warehouse. Well, it's except the stuff that's wrapped up, obviously, of your own. I get that. It should be no outside food or drink in the warehouse, but I get with it. No chewing gum. That's great. Always be aware of your surroundings. That's true because there's giant pallets of stuff that could fall on you. You may take a break at any time. Everything must be 6 inches off the ground. Please stay in your designated area. If injury or a spill, notify staff immediately. If you notice suspicious activity, notify staff and ask staff if you have any questions or comments. We love talking with you. Take pictures and feel free to post. Hunger Heroes. That's very sweet. So anyways, this is a, there's all these, stand against hunger things. Where does your state rank? Hunger Action Month, Seymour, United States of Hunger, greater than 15%. And this is, I'm glad that, and you have to recognize this. You have to, please, while we still have a lot of work to do with especially like school lunches and the like, and the United States, as far as saving lives and preventing illness, could go a lot further towards nutritional information for the general public, either in school, through medical outreach, letting people know that that sugar consumption is in fact the largest reason for the rise in diabetes and all kinds of other stuff, not fat, carbohydrates, and protein. Like, it's sugar, the amount of sugar added to stuff, not even salt. Salt is effectively in a lot of phases gone down over the last 30 years, where obesity has gone up, and obesity related comorbidities are killing lots and lots and lots and lots of Americans and lots of people worldwide, by the way. The diabetes rates in India and Mexico, often, if not all, India's always surpassing us, but Mexico often surpasses us. It's nutrition education that's important, but understand, we have moved from hunger in the United States to food insecurity. Where's the next meal coming from? And that, as much as, like I said, you keep working on it, that's why we have food banks. That's why we do this, because we take care of the people who have food insecurity about it. Well, I don't know how I'm going to feed my kids tonight. I don't know how I'm going to feed my kids this weekend. We got this much food in the fridge, but we don't know where the next stuff is coming from. That's a concern. It's a stressor, and it has a cascading effect, especially in these areas. If you look at what states are affected, it's no surprise. And a bunch of these states, like my old state of Kentucky, Tennessee, and the like, they have nutrition security, which I think, nutrition insecurity, which I think should be a bigger conversation. Because you can get calories from Mountain Dew in a baby bottle. That's not food. And all calories are not the same. That's, just understand that. 2,200 calories a day or whatever it matters where you get them from. Eat a little fresher today than you would have. Make the fresh choice as best you can. as best you can. I know, as best you can. So we don't talk about, we don't have to deal with starvation in our country. We do not. We don't have to deal with genuine hunger a lot of times. We have, stubborn hunger, pride hunger sometimes, but not to the point where, we have, like, randomly will have some couple that forces their baby to be vegan and they themselves are like, Caesar salad vegans, something, like they're not good at it. And that's certainly not enough to impart a good version of it on a child, right? Those kind of moments. But it's not due to society. It's not due to the systems we have in place. It's not due to the structures that we have. We've been working on this in our country for a very long time. But what we do deal with is food insecurity. Well, that insecurity notch goes way down if you don't have to worry about your kid eating. If you know they're getting a meal at school and it will be, reasonably healthy and increasingly healthy should be the goal. Because the more the kid has to work with, the chances are that if a family gets out of poverty, it's because the kids are better off than the parents. If they're cheated nutritionally and they don't eat, it's downhill for the family. And again, what's up with Maine? It's lots of rural areas. You'll see in areas where there's like all this stuff. It's not equally. That's the problem with maps like this too. Don't get too carried away when you see a map like this as well, because look how big this is. There's a couple of cities in there and that don't have that problem, but the volume of people in the rural areas is what's going on. Yeah. So, and again, this is like looking at a state and looking, oh my God, that whole county voted for Trump. Like, no, it didn't. It was 60-40, and there's only 22,000 people in the goddamn place. Like, these kind of maps are so ridiculous, like increasingly useless. But this is just, it's a good sign we're talking about food insecurity and not hunger and starvation, okay? And I think our next movement needs to be nutrition security. That's the thing. So, there's also, where is it? Bear greenhouse are working to develop better seeds. Okay, this is just Bear crop science jumping in. And that's what happens. Okay, so what I was talking about with, and I'll show you this one. This is a great example of it. Bear US crop science. Now, some of you may not know, but Bear, the aspirin company to most of us, invented heroin. And they named it. Heroin is a product name, like OxyContin or oxycodone. Heroin is a product name created by the Bayer company that because of its heroic effect on pain. Just so you know. So a long time ago, they were like, oh, this would be a good idea. We'll use these things and we'll kind of narrow it down to what kind of stuff we deal with in medical situations. And the Bayer company gave heroin the name heroin. It's only called, this new setup is giving me Flash Gordon vibes. Oh, that's not necessarily bad. That's okay. Missing teeth because I couldn't afford proper nutrition when I was pregnant. That Pugache, that's exactly it. Like that shouldn't be a problem. That shouldn't be an issue. I mean, there's all kinds of people trying to find a way to supplement people's nutrition, from the Soylent guys. I mean, they literally want a tap of Soylent in people's houses. The fact that they named it Soylent, I think, was part of like marketing idiocy of it. Where is it? Let's see. There's so many articles on. Yeah, here it is. So you don't like. Again, Soylent Green is a movie where there's no food, and so anybody who dies, they turn them into food. These little food wafers, and you eat them, and they've got protein and carbohydrates and whatever, and people eat them, and this guy realizes, oh, they're feeding people to people. Soylent Green, that is the movie Soylent Green, and I for the record, in case you don't know, Soylent Green is not people. Soylent Green is avocado. Soylent Beige is people. Just in case you're at the Soylent thing and it's, yeah. Okay, so the guy who, this guy Rob Reinhart, in 2013, software engineer Rob Reinhart purchased 35 chemical ingredients, including potassium gluconate, calcium carbonate, monosodium phosphate, maltodextrin, olive oil, all of which are deemed necessary for survival based on his readings of biochemistry textbooks and U.S. government websites. Reinhart used to view food as a time-consuming hassle and has resolved to treat it as an engineering problem. He blended the ingredients with water and consumed only this drink for the next 30 days. Over the course of the next 2 months, he adjusted the proportions of the ingredients to counter various health issues and further refined the formula. Claimed a host of health benefits from the drink, and noted that he gradually reduced his monthly food bill, which fell from USA $470 to $155, and the time spent preparing consumption of food while providing him greater control over his nutrition. This is what happens when tech guys and programmers use their problem solving, game theory problem solving skills on everything. Soylent is named after the food from Harry Harrison's 1966 science fiction novel Make Room, Make Room, which later became a movie called Soylent Green. And he had a commercial venture, yeah. So he's selling it in bottles. But on August 2015, nonprofit Environmental Corporation Social Responsibility, As You Sow, filed a notice of intent to pursue a lawsuit against the makers of Soylent, claiming that Soylent did not adequately label its product given the levels of lead and cadmium present in the drink. The basis of the lawsuit is California's Proposition 65, a law that requires additional labeling for food products containing trace amounts of certain substances. Although Soylent contains levels of lead and cadmium far below the national safety level set by the FDA, it does contain 12 to 25 times the level of lead and 4 times the level of cadmium allowed in a product without additional labeling. That's how they did it. Now, I think they've changed that. They recalled it, and then they released it without it. October 2nd, the company announced it would halt sales of the Soylent bar due to reports of gastrointestinal distress. In Canada, there we go, causing nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and even death, much like your aftershave. Yeah, Soylent's not bad. I've had it when it first came out, but there's a lot of articles about this stuff, and I'll show you what comes out about this and what their sort of purpose is. This is not an ad for this. I don't buy or sell this. Nothing. But the idea is that it's a meal replacement shake. Now, meal replacement stuff has been around for a long time. They're just trying to refine it to the absolute base minimum so that you don't have anything else and you can be on a schedule of what you're getting into your system. It's just like basically it's vitamins you take in a bottle and in lieu of a meal. It's like instead of taking a bunch of vitamins in pill form, you could drink them. And like over the course of 4, as far as your trace minerals and stuff, and then a certain amount of protein, a certain amount of carbohydrates, staticked out to whatever your size is, and yada yada. When I tried it years ago, all that was available was this one, the original. It's just basically plain, like this kind of situation, which was fine. And now they have a bunch, obviously. But anyway, so back up here. So this, let's see, where's the one? Yeah. So when this came out, and this is, again, gamers upon gamers upon gamers. I've eaten Soylent for 3 years. Here's how it changed me. This is all around, like Cupertino and Silicon Valley. Everybody's trying to it's all life hacks. That's what this is all about. This is the life hacker kind of thing. I'm no fanatic or hater, just a guy with a subscription. I started eating Soylent. Do you eat it? You drink it, don't you? I mean, in Chinese, you 吃饭, you eat food. Fan is the word for rice, but it's also kind of the generic word for food. 吃饭, 吃 is eat. 我吃饭. 我最喜欢吃中国饭. I very much like, I'm a big fan of eating Chinese food like that, right? So, but you 喝汤, you don't which is drinking, like you he cha, which is drink tea. You also drink soup, even if it's thick soup. If you're having soup with a spoon, you're technically in Chinese you he tang. You drink soup, right? So I would argue no one eats Soylent, you drink Soylent. Come on. If you can involve a straw, you're not eating. I'm just saying. I ate a smoothie yesterday. See what I mean? That's just dumb. It was really cheap, 2-3 per meal. It was easy. Why we did it, advertise complete nutrition, but even if it fell short of that, it was certainly more nutritious than the takeout and instant mac and cheese I frequently ate. At the time I started with Soylent, it came in 2 options, powder and pre-mixed bottles. Much ink and internet advertising spilled over Soylent. If you get past the dystopian name and the premise, it's more to drinking Soylent. This is my personal experience. There are 2 ways to get on with it. I'm firmly in the second. I'm nowhere near ready to give up tacos and pho, but I'm lazy and disorganized to have dietary voice. Okay, so he's just using it as a meal supplement. And it makes him feel healthier, he thinks. He thinks first he missed food after a while. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a thin line between a healthy meal replacement, which is fine. Like, that's not a bad, especially if you have weight issues and other stuff. I mean, there's lots of options out there for meal replacements, and the Soylent certainly, I guess, qualifies as one of them. But there's a thin line between using that as a meal replacement or replacing food altogether and becoming like Kevin Costner drinking your own piss on a floating dinghy in Waterworld. You know what I mean? Like, what vaccine you got? I got Pfizer. Yes, ensure milkshakes for dinner, right? Look at it flying out of the top of the bottle. Yes, it's supposed to. You know, one of my theory. No ad campaign is an accident, kids. Okay? Don't ever think that when they take pictures of this that they don't know that. So what is the reason? Why would they do this? Does anybody know? Oh, I hope you guys can figure this one out. This is so sweet. Can you figure? I just want you guys to look at advertising in a way that you maybe haven't before. Jumps into your face? Nope. Close. Chris B is pretty close. The bicycle might, yeah. Not quite sexual gratification. Manly. Yes, but why? Why ejaculation? Why? It's not just because sex sells. It's because of the rise of the phrase. Hold on, let me see if I can bring this out for you. Soy boy. Soy. The idea that soy makes you, that it feminizes you, that it lowers your sperm count. Soy is bad for your balls. That's we've always that's been around for a long time. That's right. It's a reference to the fact that too much soy or soy and everything makes you infertile or unmanly or takes your, it affects your gonads, which is a reasonable fear to have. It's just become it's become a meme as well. Right. So the idea was that soy lowers your sperm count, lowers testosterone. Let's see. I don't know if yeah, here it is. So not only is this plant-based nutrition, right? That's what they're telling everybody about. This is headline: 8 foods that lower testosterone levels. Bing. Even it's not totally a myth. You have to consume immense amounts, right? But the idea is that if you're not eating anything but a drink called Soylent, even though technically speaking, I don't know that the primary ingredient is soy or ever was. It's just the phrase that they decided it was cool to give it the name Soylent Green, off of Soylent Green. So they're stuck with the fact that the first syllable in Soylent is soy, whether it's in there or not. Right? So they're stuck with that. So they have to push back against it. So they created these ejaculate pictures. I love explaining this stuff to people. Like now, I would hope. I mean, we all know a little bit. We're a little bit better at understanding advertising and manipulation. But you have to understand, especially if there's any money in it. Slapdash ad campaigns, people just try to brand stuff and move on. But they've done market research like crazy. And this is the problem they push up against. They chose the name Soylent because they thought they were being, cute. And then they realized they fucked up. Yeah. Everything I know about marketing I learned from Brian Kinney. Yeah, Brian would know this. This is a totally Brian Kinney ad campaign. This is what Brian from Queer as Folk would pitch on every product. Cans soup. Anyway, this is in the advertising world. Brian Kinney was a one-trick pony. Does everything have to look like this? We're selling motor oil. Trust me. The people who don't know Queer as Folk aren't going to get it at all. Oh, God. That's so funny. Right. It's the only thing. Right. So the idea is that it's not that this is going to make you manly, but when this is what you're counter-programming against, that's why you have to have a picture that looks like that. I mean, it's dead. I mean, it's so on the nose. Well, I mean, if you aim right. What? What are the other 7 foods? Okay, let's check them out. 8 foods that lower testosterone levels. It's good to know. All right, here we go. Soy and soy-based products. Mint, son of a bitch. Perhaps how much? Jesus. A 30-day study in 42 women showed that drinking spearmint herbal tea daily caused a significant decline in testosterone levels. Similarly, an animal study found administering spearmint essential oils to rats for 20 days resulted in reduced testosterone levels. Meanwhile, that's why cinnamon gum, boys. Cinnamon gum. If you want to, just saying. I've always been kind of a cinnamon guy. It's a lot. This is... However, most research on men and testosterone focuses on women or animals, right? High quality human studies focusing on both genders need to assess how it does affect men. Licorice root. Everybody in our society hates licorice except me. Vegetable oil. That's where you're cooking with vegetable oil and polyunsaturated. Yeah. This is also loose science as well. Many of the most common vegetable oils, including canola, soybean, corn, cottonseed oil, are loaded with polyunsaturated fatty acids, usually classified as a health source of dietary fat, but they may also decrease testosterone levels as several so that's the thing. Okay. Flaxseed, right? This is also the balance out of like pushing against prostate cancer. Like flaxseed's one of those things that they, everybody wants you to consume because of the omega-3s in it. Processed foods, that's pretty fucking broad. Thanks. Gee. What define process? Well, it was driven here. I love black licorice too, 250 comb. I'm a big fan. And it's good for your singing voice. Alcohol, clearly. Nuts. How ironic. Sorry. The irony. How dare you? How dare you, nuts? Not these nuts. No. Seriously, look at the article we're looking at. 8 foods that lower testosterone levels. And nuts. Oh, it's just... the bottom line. Yeah. This is mostly with women who have higher than normal testosterone levels and they do stuff. Nuts are source of important nutrients, fiber, healthy fats, and minerals like folic acid, selenium, magnesium, and the other guys. So one small study. See, this is where it's bullshit. Like Additionally, some studies suggest that certain types of nuts may decrease testosterone levels. Some studies. One small study in 31 women with polycystic ovary syndrome showed that walnuts and almonds increased levels of the sex hormone binding globulin by 12 to 16% respectively. It's a type of protein that binds testosterone, which can lead to a decrease in the levels of free testosterone in your body. So it joins them all together. It takes your testosterone and makes it join a drum circle. My testosterone slammed because of prostate cancer sex. Yeah, well, it's, and, there's a certain amount of, they're going to start regulating testosterone in people. You just watch. Like, it's like solar flares. That's going to be added to your numbers that you're, like men, your whole life, you'll manage. Because if they can find a way to manage it, just these pictures, son of a bitch. So, this is, let's see. So this kind of like making sure, this guy at one point, I don't know why it's not in here, but it makes me want to get some of this. I'm gonna get some Soylent just for the heck of it. Just try it. Because I haven't had it in a long time. I'll let you guys know. I'm not drinking it as my sole food source or anything ridiculous. That's just silly. But, and a lot of these, I drank Huel and Soylent for a month. This is what happened. These articles are all over the place, and I'm increasingly. By the way, this morning show is just us hanging out, so follow me down the rabbit hole of clickbait. I drank Huel and Soylent. This is what happened. Turns out meal replacement drinks are actually no replacement for meals. You think? Shakes and powders. My answer: I tried to supplement or replace some of my food intake first with Soylent, and then with Huel each for a month to see what made a difference. All these food replacement drinks share the same philosophy. For too long, we have optimized food for taste instead of primary use, namely providing all the nutrition your body needs. A population, we have made food so delicious that we crave it, get addicted to it. So yeah, basically it blands it out. Huel's blanding it out. To cure our bad habits, here come the drinks. Huel was founded in Aylesbury, UK, developed by Hearn's fellow co-founder James Collier. Last year, the company sold over 20 million meals in more than 80 countries. At the same time, Soylent was launched in the U.S. by Rob Reinhart. Sold in the UK in ready-to-drink bottle, only in ready-to-drink bottles. You can't, the powder version, you can't get there. This is 2019, so this is where. The drink comes right, unflavored mocha with a caffeine kick and cacao. The latter two taste sweet, I've found, but are pleasant enough, like regular chocolate milk or latte milkshake. Not a fan of unflavored version. It's drinkable, but rather boring. Well, add it to something else, dum-dum. Use it as a base for a smoothie. That would seem to be the smart thing. I mean, am I the only person who does that with protein shakes? You take like sometimes I have protein powder that I use, and sometimes you get a premixed protein drink, and it's the same powder you would use, but it's premixed into bottles for just ease of use. And occasionally, like at Vitamin Shop or GNC, they'll have sales where they're like, yeah, you can get this for half off or whatever. So I get them for my girlfriend's kid when he goes to the gym, or that I have him, whatever. It's really easy to take one of those and pour it into a blender with ice and fruit, and it's way faster, right? And the ingredients are already pre-made. Like that's a logic that doesn't take a lot of chasing down. Maybe wired, maybe creative thinking, perhaps. I don't know. All right. Huel is different. There are bottled versions, which I didn't enjoy at all. Therefore, I only tried once. Quickly decided to stick for 1 month to the powder you mix for a shake yourself. 1 scoop is about 150 calories. Still, if you mix it with water only, which is recommended, it tastes pretty horrible. I tried it. Boy, did I try, but I couldn't finish a single drink. I decided to cheat and mix the powder with almond milk. I don't drink dairy, and that dramatically improved the experience. Huel comes with 3 main flavors: berry, vanilla, and coffee, but there are numerous taste boosters to mix it with pineapple, strawberry, okay, whatever. Soylent for breakfast with coffee at 11. 2 scoops of Huel with lunch, followed by afternoon snack. Maybe a half bottle of Soylent around 1600. What are you doing, military time? You jerk. Neither product is designed for people who aim to lose weight, but target those who want to know exactly what they eat or are too busy for sit-down meals. They find that they don't have to worry about food, so they consume less calories. That would be true. Yeah, digestion not tied to. Where's his thing? This is supposed to be what happened. I drank Fuel and Soylent for a month. This is what happened. What happened? I don't care what they said. This is what O'Shaughnessy says. This meal replacements are not for long term, says this person. As for ingredients and Soylent, O'Shaughnessy says it's 100% of the thing. Some studies show dietitians are not tied to blah, blah, blah. What happened to you? To sum it up, I quite like both Soylent and Huel, but not for too long. I agreed with Lawson while cracking my motion feels easy. Throwing a pre-cooked salmon fillet, a cold sweet potato, and a few salads on a plane is just as quick and far better for you. This is just what it tastes like. I drank Huel and Soylent for a month. He just seemed to be bored. He just missed food and then went to seek other people who would agree with him. What a terrible article. Anyways, all right, so look how far off we got from just chasing. So this is the Hunger Action Month. This is what led us on that whole rabbit hole, right? At some point, this guy wanted a faucet of Soylent in everybody's home so you could be guaranteed a certain amount of nutrition from Soylent that you could get. Any parent who's had trouble getting a kid, sorry, Hal has Twitter, get all the wise ass clips and snarks, and only Hal can do. Thank you, Andrea. Hal, do I enjoy Spanish food? On occasion, I do. Yes, I enjoy. The foods of all peoples in some form or another. I am not squeamish. I have eaten some really rank and strange things over the course of my life. So, yeah, I fear no meal. I mean, I grew up, we ate squirrel's head soup sometimes when I was a kid. So, nothing bugs me. I have my preferences, but, all those things are like, would you eat this for $1 million? Like, yeah. That's like asking me, would you shit this out for $1 million? Yeah, I would. What about bug soup, though, Hal? I've eaten a lot of bugs in my life. There was a restaurant in the airport in Santa Monica where I took flying lessons. It's a private airfield as well, so a lot of Tom Cruise parks some of his planes there in Santa Monica. He's got a huge hangar there. And there's a restaurant across the way in case you land and you're starving and you can't go anywhere and you're just stopping for gas and whatever. And they served Chiang Mai ants on a salad because they taste like vinegar. Roasted crickets, and they also put the Chiang Mai ants on French fries. So it was like vinegar, like salt and vinegar chips, right, in England. And then the water bugs were gnarly because the water bugs were like this big. They're basically these giant water cockroaches, and they put chicken in them. But the shell was so hard it was like eating a credit card. So yeah, then not so good. But as more of this stuff comes around, watch for changes in how we produce food for people among us. That there's this super great. Hold on one second. Now I got to find this for you guys. Let's see, Detroit Vertical Farm, I think is what it was under. Planted Detroit. Yeah, this is the place. This is a place called Planted Detroit, where you can order vegetation. There's basically they took an old, just a burned out building, and they grow stuff in hydroponic chambers in these, 8-story buildings that nobody's in. And it uses like 90% less water. It's way more efficient. Get used to that as an idea. That farmers are going to live in cities and tech workers are going to live out in the middle of nowhere. That is the next step. There's going to be a total... You're going to talk about a demographic shift that's going to happen over the next 25 years. That's it. That people who want to farm for a living and view themselves as farmers will start growing stuff in buildings and in old reclaimed parking garages in these major cities that don't have big factories in them, like old factory towns, are going to turn into farm towns. And then tech people who normally, business traders, advertising, all that stuff will be done largely virtual. And those folks will move out into, so that, you could arguably see a flipping of red to blue, city to rural in the next 25 years because of that very thing. So anyways, okay. So see what happens when they give you one click and we went with it. Alanis Morissette bashes her HBO documentary Jagged. This is not the story I agreed to tell. Yeah, well, didn't you get editorial control? California GOP. Is there such a thing? Apparently not. We go live to the California GOP. That's what this is. It looks like Mark Zuckerberg. This is the story about General Milley. We'll talk about this later on. Randall, without a shred of irony, we have elections. We can't have generals overturning elections. Huh? All right, we'll deal with that on the show later. I don't want to get too much into the politics of it this morning. Oh, Chuck Todd. Everybody's... Chuck Todd is getting named because Casey Hunt's posting this. She posted this earlier. California governor, big picture. One of the top Democrats in the country got caught living like an elite while everyone else suffered. Elites first, the rest of the... He had a dinner party. Living like an elite? And this is one of how many? Democrats need to prove they can govern for everybody. And if you look at California, it's not necessarily the best test case for national Democrats. Is there homelessness, crime, whatever that's... Oh, because downtown LA and because of San Francisco? Because of drug policies in those cities that have nothing to do with the governor? Republicans not named Trump did learn they had unrealized opportunities for working class voters, including Black and Latino voters. Yeah, because in a town of 20,000, 8,000 people who hadn't voted before voted, right. Especially President Biden can't demonstrate he's capable of getting the resurgent pandemic under control. Has another competence crisis in a la Afghanistan? Well, we're not going to be in another 20-year war and can't get his budget plan through Congress, etc. etc. Does she not have a Slack? Oh, Casey. Very strange. So, yeah, so that's why a lot of people are responding with, it's odd. Yeah, Eric Bowler. Newsom's landslide win was bad news for Dems, noted. Yeah, it's so weird. Like when two-thirds of voters were like, no, firmly no. Republicans who lost, a third of them, half of the Republicans that voted in the Trump election didn't vote in the recall to get rid of Newsom. They were like, no, I'm not even participating. It hardly speaks to an electorate on the move. Mike Richards was fired from his Jeopardy gig, so why is he hosting this week? Because I was busy. Trumpers. Oy. Showed support for COVID. Exit polls show. Okay. Larry Elder just told his supporters, let's be gracious in defeat, which sounds like a concession. Trumpers won't like that. Yeah, that's true. All right. And then a crest ad. I guess it's related. What is now Larry Elder's California? It's now Larry Elder's California GP. What's his next move? No, it isn't. He got 40% of a third of nothing. But please run. Yes, Larry, you know what? I support this. Larry Elder, please seize control of the California GOP and assume that the Trumpers will back you. Please find out the hard way as quickly as possible. And then, oh God, it's going to be Mike Flynn, isn't it? Oh, it's the... Yikes. Okay, at least it's random. Okay, good, because there's a lot of Flynns out there. Yeah, and they're like, if Flynn had done something like Milley did, right? Is that where we're going? Oh, God. And this business, the betadine. I don't know why they're showing this person. What'd they do wrong? Is this where betadine is made? In some sort of, like, ancient Greek building? Hey, buddy. You know what betadine is? Like, why is that the picture, Twitter? I don't understand. There's no evidence that disinfectant betadine prevents or treats COVID. Oh, God. Oh, no. Snorting and gargling iodine to fight COVID-19 is a really bad idea. Yes, it is. It's the latest anti-vaxxer tactic. You should avoid at all costs. Thank you, Men's Health. Oh, God. Avrio Health, the makers of betadine, also intervened in the online conversation about the use of its product as an alternative COVID treatment, saying betadine antiseptic sore throat gargle is only for temporary relief of occasional sore throat. Betadine antiseptic products have not been demonstrated to be effective for the treatment or prevention of COVID-19 or any other viruses. Gargling antiseptic does not prevent coronavirus. The fact that we have to fucking say this. But here's the... Okay, let's look at the silver lining. God, what, should we have to say this? We now have a way to say this. For a long time, there were, like ridiculous anti-scientific medicinal remedies that got a lot of people fucking killed for a long time because they never heard anything different. They just die poisoned. Now, at least... Yeah, do we have to talk about this? Is it embarrassing a little bit? Yes. But the fact that this information is getting out, would you like a Tide Pod for dessert? Exactly. I mean, we're talking to the same crowd. Yeah, it's a very powerful disinfectant they're trying to get in the body. This is just fucking dumb. No, betadine does not cure or prevent COVID-19. The doctor's coming out and saying this. And it's, like I said... There is a betadine throat gargle to alleviate sore throat symptoms, but it is not proven COVID treatment. Yeah, they're probably drinking it. God damn it. But that's the point, is it embarrassing that social media is full of this shit and that it has to go out? Yeah. Is it good, though, that you have a way to reach people that you might not have had before? Yeah. So, and people are reacting to this, and stomping on it with a big wet foot. So, okay, I can live with that. That could be worse. I've seen worse. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna jump over here and grab let's see. It's 11:15. So I'm gonna get off in about 5 minutes, if that's okay with you guys, and I'll be back on at my regular time at 3, and I'm gonna tweak the settings around us, but so far it looks pretty good. That guy put that up there, made that, so that's its own little graphic thing where the signature bug goes. But I didn't have that file, so I put that up there. And then I think have the alert boxes been working? I've been talking so much I haven't even noticed. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to try and add one in here just in case the browser's... Yeah, there we go. Hopefully, because I made a little thing for it to go in, and up in the corner, and I can't tell if it's been going or not. Take a nap. I'm going to need one, yeah. Hey, there it is. See, it's got its own little box now. That's nice. That's got a good look to it. I made a little, like beveled it and then put a little embossed, a little drop shadow. And then the Sparks name behind me. Can you see that? It's a little bit subtle. It's not quite... Oh, thank you, Thomas. Appreciate it. I've been doing work behind the scenes. This looks a little cramped when it's shrunk down. I'm not a fan. I'll work on that, but it'll work for a bigger thing. And I'm gonna I'll put the HAL thing back up there this afternoon. And then in the comms thing, we'll do this and move this out of the way so we can just look at some pretty scenery. My page where I talk over stuff, the box is right here. So I got to put the, let's see, take that out. We'll add this, make another one. Because apparently the old browser source that I created in there just did not work. It just decided not to work. So it'll be a little smaller, but it won't interfere with us while we're watching, that kind of thing. Thank you, Thomas, and thank you, Grant, for the pounds. Thanks so much. And Aggie, thank you for the Swedish kroner. The biggest threat to health seems to be ultra-processed foods. I'm chair prof in nutrition, PhD at MSc and MPH. Yeah, that's precisely it. Although, again, ultra-processed foods versus processed foods, that's therein lies the problem. Like, it's usually preservatives. We used to talk about things in terms of preservatives back in the 80s. So this thing's full of preservatives, right? Well, that's what they're talking about. Now we're talking about processed foods because it waters down the conversation. Isn't everything processed? It's like we used to have on food, as far as the vitamins and it used to be MDA on stuff, the minimum daily allowance. You want this is your minimum. You don't want to get less than this of vitamin C a day, vitamin B a day, vitamin A, that kind of stuff. The minimum daily allowance. And companies didn't like how it made it sound like their foods were deficient. Is behind the live encounter on Facebook? Oh. I don't know what that means, Marcia. My name is behind the live counter? I see. Gotcha. The name thing. Thanks for letting me know. I will. I'll move it around and see if I can. I've got a little bit more arranging to do, but we'll work on it. Thanks, though. Just make it smaller like that. Would that work? Does that do it? Yeah, well, let me know. Anyways, we used to have MDA, and then they changed it. That's right, to recommended daily allowance, RDA. Because recommended sounds so much nicer. And let's be charitable for a second. You've got a company, you're putting out milk or something, and a board of scientists who've been, wrong several times about fiber, fat, and salt, are telling you what the minimum you should have in your product is, and that your product should have, what you work on the packaging and all this stuff, should have the word minimum on it. And if you are 2% or 10% or 80% of the minimum, 80% of the minimum sounds like shit, even though you might be a great source of it, and putting more in might totally change the flavor of the food so nobody would eat it, and they're not going to get that 80% minimum at all. So there you go. So there's a lot of reasons, legit reasons why, if you had a product you were trying to sell, why minimum sounds like shit. And you don't necessarily trust that it's always going to be, they change it, right? So what you would want now, what they went for was recommended daily allowance. They're recommending this. Okay, 2% milk has 98% fat. It's not low fat. Yeah, but it's milk fat, and your body processes it differently than it does, say, direct animal fat, for example. Not all calories are the same. Not all fat is the same. That's, yeah. And as we've as we shifted away from dairy, from as far as like milk, as we got away from milk, we didn't come up with a way to supplement our vitamin D over time. And vitamin D levels have taken a dive in the last 30 years because we took away milk without realizing that milk, because it was a staple, was fortified with vitamin D and that kind of stuff. We had taken steps to make it more valuable. So, no, 2% fat, 98% milk. Yes. But again, the 2% fat, even that is, you could argue that, well, we'll get into the whole milk versus 2% argument later. Carbs are not, you will die without carbs. Carbs are not bad. They need to be managed though. You have far more than you need. There is no minimum necessary amount of carbs, although a lot of people get brain fog if they don't get some carbs. Because their body's used to it. That's, a whole nutritional discussion. My point is that a lot of people go, they change MDA to RDA because corporations, blah, blah, blah. But there's also a legit reason why you don't want an arbitrary board making your product sound like shit when it is actually the healthy alternative in some cases, right? So MDA became RDA. Okay, that's what democracy is about. We're going to agree. Okay, we're not going to say minimum, but we do recommend you get this amount, and of that amount, this product or thing has this percentage in it. Carbs are bad as a movie reference. Need carbs for fuel. Yes. Get an air fryer. I mean, there's a lot of conversations we had. Whole milk all the way. I drink whole milk when I drink milk. That's true. Sugar intake control is the easiest way to become more healthy. Absolutely. Yes. Start, and sugar, you know, they used to say salt's in everything. Sugar's in everything. Sugar's in everything. I mean, McDonald's ketchup is basically like sugar tomato soup. Just add water. So, is oat milk healthy? I changed from coconut milk, which I love. It depends on your system. Some people handle oats well and some people don't. That's the important thing. But the point I'm trying to make is you get MDA versus RDA. There's a reasonable, you can be understanding about how if you worked at that company, you created something, you were like, oh, we created a dairy alternative. It's got, it's oat milk or it's almond milk, for example, and it's got more protein. It has less fat and therefore less bioavailability with some of the other vitamins in it. So it might have more vitamin D, E, and A in it, but because it doesn't have the fat to make it go into your system, you're going to get less out of it. So in the recommended daily allowance versus minimum daily allowance, we'd rather have recommended daily allowance too. There you go. Those conversations are important. It's important to have those kind of healthy conversations about yourself. The sugar movie really opened my eyes to that problem. Yeah, minimize your sugar. Thank you, Aggie. Appreciate that. Anyways, where were we? That was a total. That started from the Soylent conversation. It's just going to be sticking around, right? You do use some things are not as good for people. That's true. Local milk farmer told me something. Hold on, somebody was scrolling through. Not drink whole milk, only skim milk. All right. That's his feeling. He might believe that. Last ingredient, pre-shredded. Look at the last ingredient of pre-shredded cheese. Okay. Running in place as fast as you can for as long as you can. That's actually great. Yes, that's it. That's the essence of HIIT cardio. I would do it in bursts, but that's what Bruce Lee did. He would go jogging, and then he would race, and then he would jog, and then he would race, and then he would jog, and that was one of the reasons why he looked the way he did. I'm going to sign off now. I stayed on way longer than I said I was going to. And then I'm going to get up and prep for the show and try not to be in a coma for my show later on this afternoon, 3 o'clock. I'll see you guys then. I'm going to tweak more on this. Yeah, I said moron. I'm not afraid. And see if I can add some cool stuff to it. And I'm not going to tweak it now. I'm this close, but I'm not going to. But I'll be back later on this afternoon. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else, and I will see you then. I have an ending screen, don't I? I do. There it is. Look, an ending screen. It's not. I need to mess around with it. It's not quite on par, but and here comes the theme. I have to put the theme in manually. Okay, I'll see you guys later.